Hello, my loves. I'm back. And so now we're going to have a little bit of fun. So if my orbs start going around crazy, they're here to uplift the energy. So let's just start with a soulmate message first. Let's start with a soulmate message. I bet you've been challenged with relationships too during this transformation, haven't you? It hasn't been easy, right? To see things for what they truly are, right? To realize that maybe whatever relationship we're in is really not making us happy. Yeah, that's been big. That's been coming up really big with a lot of my clients and just in the collective, where they're just starting to see things that really about their partners that really just doesn't emotionally fulfill them anymore. And and they feel stuck and uncertain and not sure what to do moving forward. But the one thing that they do know is they're not happy, right? So this is, again, we're being challenged through this transformation to see the truth in the situations around us, and to honor ourselves and our truth and authenticity by acknowledging that, the relationship is not making us happy and maybe it is time for a change. Even though there may be people who get hurt in the situation, it's not about them. It's about you. It's about you and how you feel about yourself, and being true about how you feel about the relationship that you're in, right? So let's pull one soulmate card and then we'll see where Spirit wants to take us as far as which relationship group we want to share with or to. Sorry, just looking at my little singing bowls there. All right, come on. What is a soulmate message for the collective, Spirit? What do we want to share with them? What do we want to share with them? I'll tell you, we're getting a lot of synchronicities as well, and signs and messages that are coming through. You really need to pay attention to them, especially if you see them over and over and over. It's the universe trying to tell you something, right? And a lot of times when we see them over and over, it's just to let us know we're on the right path. We're doing fine. I'll tell you, the big numbers that have been coming up for me is just like every time I look at the clock, it's 11:11. Whether it's in the morning or it's in the evening. And 222 is very, very big for me as well. I'm always seeing 222 everywhere. It's like right away. What's been coming up lately too is 333. So that's another big number that's been coming up. The other day I was walking and out of nowhere, I see a little feather. There was nothing around. It just came out of the sky. It was just this little feather just coming down and landing at my feet. It just came, only a little feather there. I didn't even see any birds or anything. I didn't see nothing fly by. It just came out of nowhere. So I know that's my angels also. Whenever you see a feather, it's the angels around you. So that was interesting. That happens a lot, though. I see that a lot. One time I walked out of my car in the parking lot and there was nothing around, and I start walking and all of a sudden I look down, one little feather right on the ground right by my car. It's like one feather, one little feather. So I'm like, okay. So you know what? When you see signs like that, just always be grateful. Show gratitude. Always say thank you. Thank you. Always thank the universe. Always thank our guides and our angels and our divine team, and if you whoever you believe in, you always want to give them thanks and show appreciation, because they really are helping us and guiding us and getting us through life. They really are. And although sometimes we feel like we're alone, we're really not alone. We're really not. Like, we really are always protected. We always have the divine teams around us, our guides, our spirit guides, angels, even deceased loved ones. I had a session the other day where a woman came in and she was grieving And her husband came right into the session. And it was so funny. He was so funny. So that happens sometimes in my sessions where a loved one will come in and to be present. Sometimes they're just here for moral support. Sometimes they'll have messages that they want to share with their loved ones. Sometimes they just like to be nosy. Sometimes they just like the energy in the room and they just want to be there, you know. So you get a lot of crazy things that happen. Get a lot of crazy things that happen in this office. Drawers opening and closing. I have a drawer back here. It'd be interesting if it opens while I'm sitting here. Are you here? I think I'm crazy. Are you here, my friend? Show the collective that you're here. Open up. Open the drawer. If it opens, I'll be like really freaking amazed. But so sometimes what will happen is spirits, energies will open up my drawers. We make a joke out of it all the time. It's all harmless stuff because the energy in this space is so good. It's such a high vibrational energy. And so, people come, they don't want to leave. All right, so, oh, wow, well, look at this. So the first message that came up, we're going to start with this, Soulmate message cards. I'm only going to pull one for now. And then we'll start pulling for relationship guidance, okay? So the soulmate message that came through was, you are entering a period of positive change, deep and profound transformations. Validation, my loves. Deep and profound transformations that occur at the deepest level of your being. You emerge with a renewed passion for life, full of romance and creativity. Look at that. Validation. Confirmation, my loves, that we are indeed going through a profound transformation that is messing with a lot of us, but so necessary for us to get to the next level. Like, we really need to allow this transformation to take place. We really can't resist these changes because they're so imperative. They're so important for us moving forward to get to that next level. The next level. All right, my love. So I didn't bring all of them. Most of my cards are at home. I didn't bring all of them. So let me see, which cards did I bring today? All right, let's start with a message of love oracle card. Okay. And see, we'll use this deck to take us to which relationship group we want to work with. So Spirit, which relationship group do we want to work with or share message with today? And if I have time, before my my day starts, my next session starts, if I have time to pull, I will pull another message. All right, so let's see, where do we want to go? Which relationship group do we want to share messages with and guidance with? Which ones? There's been so much stuff going on, so much. Transformation has been remarkable. Hard, but remarkable. When you can get to that place of just surrendering and allowing it to do what it needs to do, you're going to feel so much better. Afterwards, I promise you will. It just gives you this deeper, sometimes even after we've gone through like a dark night of the soul, most of the time I would say, we really come out of it, even though going through it is horrible and it's really hard. We really do go through a major change. And when we come out of it, our focus and clarity is so sharp. It's like we just know. Because we just purged a whole lot of shit during that dark night, As long as we don't resist it and we allow it to do what it needs to do, you'll be fine. Even though it sucks while you're going through it, at the end of it, you always feel good, because we just released so much during that time. So which message, love message do we have for the collective spirit? What do we want to share with the collective? What do we want to share with the collective spirit? Do we have a message for the collective? Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Oh, that's a lot of cards. Let me see which one. Wait a second. I'm going to do it again because it was just way too many cards. Too many cards that just came through here. So let us do it again. One card, please. One card, please. What is the card? What is the message that we want to share with the collective spirit? Are you ready for the new year? I'm ready for this year to be over. I'm not going to, say anything bad about the year, but it has been a challenging year, but it's also been a very transformative year. I feel in this year alone, I've gone through leaps and bounds of changes, as many have as well. Just leaps and bounds. Like, I definitely don't feel like the same person. I really don't feel like the same person again. I feel like a brand new person, which is a good thing, Okay, so the two messages that came up was boundaries, which we know boundaries are very important. Firm boundaries are needed now. And then the other card that came up was decisions. It's time to decide about this relationship. So which group would this be for, Spirit? Which group do you want this to be for? Boundaries and decisions. I feel like they're taking me to past relationships that are coming up. So this has been coming big up in the my third eye is going crazy. So this is about past relationships that are coming up. So you may be presented with an old love coming into your life again, and you have to make a decision of what you want to allow in this time, and you do that with setting strong, firm boundaries. Again, when you think about it, right, we've gone through some major changes right now, and hopefully our person, or our past person who's coming back, because I feel like this is being directed to past love. You don't have to take them back either, okay? So don't feel like you need to. But I feel like, especially if it was a very toxic relationship, unless there has been some serious changes, really, really take your time with it. Set your boundaries and make your decisions, but take your time with it. Don't jump right into something if you're not sure of. But what I wanted to say was, we're going through major transformations, right? So we're not the same person that we were a year ago or 2 years ago, right? So even if a past person comes in, you're at a different place right now, so really take a look at what you really want in a relationship. And if that person comes back as a changed person, as you're changed, can't hurt to give it a try. But again, if it was toxic and it caused nothing but heartache and pain, and maybe the partner was abusive in some way, that's not a relationship you want to be back. If it was more about not communicating properly, maybe not communicating clearly on how we needed to communicate. And that's now going through this transformation. We should be better at communicating, right? We should be able to communicate whatever the hell we need to communicate without worrying about what the other person thinks. Because if they're not meant for you, they're not meant for you, right? So if a past person comes back, just make sure that you are very clear with what it is that you want, what it is that you don't want. Be very clear with communicating with that person. No more trying to guess what the person is thinking or doing. No more mind games. Just be very clear and open about everything. No secrets. All right? So, and use discernment. Use discernment, whichever way you're guided. So let's see what else they want to share with us about this past person that may be coming back. All right, let's see. Let's just pull another one. I'm being guided to pull another one from this deck. All right, what's the other message that we want to add to this past person that may be coming back into your life? Just be clear what you want, all right? Be clear. No more wasting time. If it doesn't make you happy, be clear. And I know I always talk about that in my relationship videos, but it really is. Communication is so important. And this transformation is big about a big part of that, Going through the transformation is allowing us to now be able to communicate what we need to communicate clearer than we have ever communicated. Because now we've gone through so many changes. We're at a place where it's like, I know what I want, what I don't want, And if a person is coming into your life that is really not emotionally fulfilling you on that level, then be careful how you invest your energy, If the person is worth it and they're showing and proving that, they as well have gone through changes and they're willing to work on this relationship and invest, hear them out. Hear them out. Hear what they have to say and then decide what it is that you want to, whatever you want to do, whatever way that turns out. Just be ready to be clear and be able to communicate exactly what it is that you want. And talk about the things that you didn't talk about, from the past. So do you have any other words of guidance to do with this past person when they come in, if they come in? For my beautiful collective out there, what guidance do you have for them, Spirit, on how to deal with this situation if it happens for them, right? One message, please. One message, please. And thank you. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Feels so quiet here. So quiet. I feel like I'm zoning out. I'm ready for a nap. I'm tired. Last night was another rough night where I didn't sleep. Couldn't sleep last night. Although the night before I got some really good sleep. But I haven't been sleeping. And last night I definitely was not sleeping. So let's see. What do we want to share? What do we want to share with the collective? Okay. Let's see. So now we're being guided to exactly what we've been going through, right? Healing. Old wounds and childhood issues need revisiting. And this may be part of the transformation as far as the relationship goes. Maybe there's been healing where there should be healing, when you're separated. Healing those old wounds. And, if there was childhood issues that were creating a lot of the conflict in that relationship, it needs to be revisited so that you can let it go. And it's probably been coming up for you anyway. So it's like we can no longer distract those wounds, distract ourselves from feeling those wounds and healing those wounds from childhood. Okay, because a lot of the times it comes from our childhood. How we learn to deal in relationships, or how we deal with relationships, has a lot of times has to do with those wounds from the past, from children. If you grew up in a family dynamic where there was no love, or you felt abandoned, or there was no nurturing, there was just a lot of chaos and toxicity, and in some cases, in my case, my issues, I know with relationships in the past, I mean, now I'm at a different place, but had to do with daddy issues, right? So because of the issues I had with my father not being present as a father to me, it created a lot of uncertainty within myself about what a relationship really truly should be. Looking for that acceptance and acknowledgement and that love from a male, right? And I'm not ashamed to say that a lot of times I went during my life, going through my life, there was times where I was in just with men, just because I was looking for love and attention, and sometimes in relationships, there was a lot of traits that my dad had that my relationship, my partner at the time, who I was with, had, and or the way I was not accepted or loved or nurtured, I attracted men that did the same. Or when I was in pain, and going through a lot of hurt and not knowing my worth and value, I was just attracting the wrong kind of men into my life. And then there was a time in my life where I was just using relationships to escape from my own inner pain, or looking for that attention, that love and acceptance, and but not really looking for anything serious, right? So of course I would attract those kind of men into my life who were in the same situation, who weren't looking for anything serious, right? So like I said, so a lot of the wounds from our past, especially our childhood, it does follow us through life, right? But then as you grow, because every relationship teaches you something about yourself, it truly does. I learned a lot in those relationships. I learned a lot in my marriage. I was in a very long marriage, that unfortunately it ended, and but I am not mad at anyone from my past. I learned so much about who I am through those relationships. So we do learn. And as you learn about yourself and you get to a place of awareness and understanding of who you truly are, and you get to a place of knowing your worth and your value, you're going to get to that place as far as relationships go, where you're not going to settle anymore for that kind of stuff, or you're not going to attract those kind of men into your life anymore, because you're at a different level, a different frequency, a different vibration. You know your worth and you know your value now, right? But I wouldn't have known those things if I didn't go through the relationships that I went through. Okay, so again, let those wounds, especially if this is a past person coming back into your life, it's something that you want to be very truthful about, be able to talk to them about why there was so much interference in the relationship, why you felt the way that you felt, why you didn't allow it to move forward. Just be very truthful and open from the start. Know what you want. So when they come back in, you communicate it very clearly and allow them to communicate very clearly. And then what you do from there, you do. Whatever happens, happens. Just be ready for whatever it is. Okay, so again, they're talking about past loves. And, even if this wasn't about past loves, healing, childhood wounds, future relationships, present relationships. These are things that you have to acknowledge within yourself to really have a more harmonious type of relationship. You have to be in harmony with yourself. Right? You need to be in harmony with yourself. And that means knowing your worth, knowing your value, knowing what you want, being able to express and communicate what it is you want. I'm not going to say need, because we have everything we need inside of us. It's more about wanting to add to your life, right? What you want to add to your life, the right partner, that's going to be there. For the long haul, who is going to be there and make you feel secure and feel safe, and all of these things, within your, that you want in a relationship, right? Just be very clear and open about what it is that you want. But no, we have to go through healing, to get that relationship that we truly, really want in our lives. We do have to go through the lessons that we go through, the experiences that we go through in relationships, but we also have to acknowledge, because what's going to happen is those unhealed wounds that we carry within ourselves from our childhood, that we carry into relationships, when we go through a transformation, or what happens in a lot of cases is as you start dating or you get into relationships, you're going to be triggered by different relationships. And we really have to get to the place of recognizing what those triggers are, whether it's triggering self-doubt, whether it's triggering insecurities within yourself. If you're being triggered by a partner in a relationship, you really need to look at those triggers, because those are things that are trying to come up to the surface for you to recognize so that you can heal it, right? So, like I said, you're going to get partners who are going to trigger you, but the triggers are there for a reason, because we need to heal the things in our lives that we have suppressed. That we've chosen not to heal. Okay, keep. Alrighty, so the two cards that popped out. Okie dokie. Okay, so this is going along with the whole, when the person comes in, hopefully you can have open communication with them and be able to express what you need to express. Yeah, and then you have to be able to decide what it is that you want, and you need to set boundaries, all right? So we don't want to allow the same behavior back into our lives, but we have to understand also that there's healing involved in that relationship that needed to be done, right? So hopefully they did it. So I feel like these cards came out because, okay, so maybe when they reach out to you, they're going to ask you to go meet them for a cup of coffee, to have a conversation, so that you can express what really was going on, the healing that you were going through, hopefully the both were going through, knowing the boundaries that you need to set so that you can make a decision on what you want to do. So it's going to start with possibly a cup of coffee. Hi, how are you doing? I know we haven't talked in a long time. Would you be up to possibly getting together for a cup of coffee so that we can just have a conversation? I would like to talk to you and catch up and see how you're doing, what's going on with you. So can we meet for a cup of coffee? Maybe it'll go like that, right? Are you open to that? Sure. Let's go have a conversation and talk. Sometimes it's necessary. We need to, sometimes you need that communication, especially from old past loves that maybe there was never any closure on. And it's like, all right, let's just have a discussion. What's the worst thing that can happen if you communicate with them? You express how you feel. They express how they feel. What was going on with you at the time. Hopefully you can be open to that extent and be able to communicate openly with them and clearly. And because you've been doing so much healing work and going through this transformation, it should not be that difficult for you to have that communication. So it's really not a bad thing if they come in and they want to have a conversation with you. So have the conversation with them, right? What's the worst that could happen? You may get some closure. You may decide you want to try again. You may decide that no, it's done and I don't want to continue. But you're not going to know unless you do it. And the thing that you're going to be thinking. So they may contact you and ask you for a cup of coffee. Meeting and conversing, savoring the moment and feeling uplifted. Friendship. So you start off friendly again. No fighting and screaming and hollering and pointing fingers. We're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to just have a calm conversation over a nice cup of coffee and just catch up. But catch up, that's fine. But you also want to be able to communicate what happened, why things ended the way that they did. You want to, don't overlook that either, because you need, if you want closure, you need to get that out there. All right. You can start off as friendships and a cup of coffee or whatever, but you need to not hide or be able to communicate. Okay, well, why did this happen? Let's talk about this. What was going on? Where were you, mentally, emotionally in that time? Be able to express what you were going through, how you felt, what was going on, right? So you want to make sure that they're not wearing a mask. Okay? And the only way you're going to know that is if you could have this truthful conversation with them, be able to communicate with them. You're going to know, this is where you want to trust your intuition. You're going to know if, they're still wearing a mask. Are they really real? Are they, you're going to know it, especially because you've gone through this major transformation and awakening, and you're at this whole brand new awareness level. You're going to just know, okay, is this person full of it? And that's at that point, you want to, make a decision, right? But don't continue going on with it if you are having doubts. Well, let's put it this way. So have your conversation over a cup of coffee, but make sure that you're really upfront and open about what you need to communicate. Don't allow them to sweet talk you without discussing what happened, where they were mentally, emotionally, where you were mentally, emotionally, how you were affected by the breakup. Okay? It's important to be very open, because we could avoid it, very easily. But by avoiding it, you're not going to resolve the problem, or you might end up repeating the same thing. Okay? Hopefully it doesn't get to that. That's where you need to trust your intuition. All right, my loves? All right, so one more card. Let's see. What is the message from your partner, from your past love? What message do they have for you? What message do they have for you, loves? Let's see. What message do they have for you? What message do they have? Oh, I don't know what the heck I'm singing. I guess I just had to clear my throat chakra. All right, so what's the message from your person? What they'd like to share with you? Do they have a message for you? Do they have a message for you? What's that message? What's the message? One. Oop. What is the message that turned around? So again, you know, the past person, someone in your life, you know, that you were in a relationship with, or, you know, someone that you had feelings for, the truth that they want to express to you is, I mean, maybe they really want to be truthful and they really want to talk to you and really share with you what they've been going through or where they were at that time, and be able to go through whatever they were going through, right? They want to be able to open up to you. So the message from your partner is, you make me face my fears. So maybe because you were that light, you know, to help them heal that stuff during the time that you've been separated from them, you know, heal those childhood wounds and issues. And you've been setting your boundaries, you know, and you meet for this cup of coffee. You know, maybe the message they want to tell you is, through that healing that they were going through, hopefully, you make me face my fears, right? And this is what you want in a relationship. You know, you want to be able to communicate what is going on with you. What is it that you fear? You need to be open with your partner about what you want. You know, what frightens you, what, you know, what would make you feel secure in the relationship. What would you like to see more of, less of? You know, being very open, speaking about your deepest, darkest parts of you that, you know, that you hide with that mask, or the illusion that you create so nobody can really see the truth. You need to be 100% honest with your partners, right? Whether they're old, new, or coming in, right? Right from the start. Now, of course, if it's a past, hopefully you learned whatever you needed to learn during the time that you've been away from each other, so that when they do come together with you, you can actually be more open than you ever been before. Because that true communication, that truth, that opening up, and that vulnerability of really expressing what made you so fearful in that relationship. You know, the things that created the need to leave or break up, or whatever the case may be. You know, whatever your insecurities, your fears, your anxieties, whatever it is. If you come back together, you want to be able to express that now. It's not about having it's not a guessing game. It's like, we can't read people's minds. Well, I can't. I'm kidding. I can read energy. But what I'm saying is, you know, they have to be open, even as an empath that I am, and things that I know, I can't come out and say it without them expressing it themselves, right? So, and I get that a lot with clients. It's like, they can sit on my couch, you know, my couch over there, and I already can see everything that's going on with them, you know, what they're holding on to. But I can't come out and say that to them directly. So, you know, I'll talk to them, ask questions, and then they end up bringing it up themselves just by the way the conversation goes, okay? So if you have an old person coming back into your life, just be open from the start with them. Express what you need to express. And then, you know, take it slow. But if they come back in the same energy that caused you to walk away or created problems in the relationship, then they're not the one for you, right? Because anyone who disrupts your peace is not the one for you. You need to be open about how you feel. You need to be able to communicate what you need to communicate very clearly, whether they receive it or not, okay? You have to know your truth and your value and not get charmed and then forget all the stuff that you've learned about yourself in that time of separation, okay? So be wary. You might get a call from an old love who wants to have a cup of coffee with you, okay? So that you can communicate and talk about where you've been, you know, in your life, what you've been going through, what happened at the time, you know, but make sure that they're not wearing the mask. Make sure that they're not, you know, portraying someone that they are not, okay? You want it to be true right from the start. You want them to be truthful and authentic right from the start, right? And that's where the boundaries come in. Make sure you have clear boundaries set when you go to meet them. Not to shut yourself down. You want to be open to communicate and have a conversation, but your boundaries that you've set of what you will tolerate and not tolerate moving forward. Make sure that you're very clear in those intentions when it comes to your boundaries, you know, and hopefully you have gone through healing and they have gone through healing, or they're open to discuss the healing that they need to continue to go through. That is why they are maybe the way that they are, so that you can get a better understanding of where it's all coming from. But you both have to be 100% truthful and be able to discuss that openly, right? Without fearing how the other person is going to react, right? And through that time, you possibly help one another face fears, or maybe will be helping them to face their fears, right? And at that point, once you've gotten all of the information you needed, and you're trusting your intuition, and you're going in with boundaries and clear intentions, whether you think you have more healing or not, and all of this is out there in the open right from the moment you start having that conversation over a cup of coffee. Then you can make your decision of what you choose to do moving forward. Whether it's just to have closure and go your separate ways, or talk about the possibilities of trying again, if that is what you want to do. But just make sure that you go in clearly stating what you need to clear. Do not let that conversation go without getting an explanation about whatever needs to be explained of why it ended. Make sure they're not coming in with the mask, still wearing that mask. Use your intuition, use discernment, okay? And then at that point, like I said, now you don't have to make the decision right then and there, because you want to go slow. You want to be able to, communicate and get everything out in the open. So you don't have to make a decision right away. Go slow. But once you get everything out in the open and you know the truth, because we want truth. You want to go back, whether it's old, new, or haven't come in yet. You want to go into a relationship in your truth, standing in your power, knowing what you want. You want to be truthful right from the start. If you have some healing that you need to heal, okay? That needs to be healed. Something that, from your childhood that is affecting your relationship. Make sure you state it. Make sure you communicate it. All right? So if you have an old person coming back into your life, use all that you've learned during this time of separation, this time of transformation, and all the things that you've learned about yourself going in to have the first meeting, a conversation, a cup of coffee, to communicate. Just be clear, be open, be truthful. Okay? No masks, no illusions, no expectations, no judgment. Just be open. It's not about going in, pointing fingers and making and blaming. Because you know what? You don't know who was right or wrong. And you could have both been wrong. Because you're dealing with your own healing, unhealed trauma. You know, trying to heal your own unhealed trauma. So it's not about going in and pointing fingers and blame game, right? Unless you're being completely disrespected, and then you shouldn't even meet them. If you were just totally disrespected, abused, they were narcissistic, and it was bad, no, I wouldn't even meet them for a cup of coffee. All right. But if it ended in a way where you really didn't get to express or explain or communicate the truth that needed to be expressed, and you know, you want to have the opportunity to do that for your own, for yourself, for your own evolution, to continue growing and moving on, there's nothing wrong with it. All right. But again, you don't let yourself be disrespected. It's not about blaming who was right, who was wrong, because I'm sure both parties had some things, you know, that was unhealed, that came out, that affected them in some way in that relationship. So give it a try. It can't hurt, right? So that is it for relationship message, So the message was for past love, okay? Possibly coming in, calling you up for a cup of coffee, or texting you for a cup of coffee. You can decide whether or not you want to go or not, right? But like I said, if it was a really toxic relationship, use discernment. I wouldn't even go, okay? But use your discernment. It's where the decision comes in, right? But if it wasn't a toxic relationship, it was just misunderstandings, you know, communication sucked. It can't hurt, right? It can't hurt. All right, my loves. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye now.